the guide. I'm just making sure that this is actually recording, so I'm repeating what I'm saying. So this is the start of the guide, yeah. This guide is for players ranked challenger or above. So it goes from basic to advanced. First thing we're starting with is the core knockback. You need to make the core go red. It's above 1750. Yeah, this number. Technically, it's like a decimal here somewhere, but isn't important. So if this core knockback scaling is not nerfed, which it probably won't be, it would be a disaster. If it would be nerfed, that means at 183 power you will get red speed. If you press tab and have advanced scoreboard on, you will see your power level. Yeah. So if the core knocks, like is being shot against the wall, temporarily it's gonna get 100 core knockback. This is to make sure that but the devs probably to make the core not stop in an awkward spot. Yeah. So temporarily 100 core knockback is added. This means if it temporarily hits over this number, which makes it red core, if you hit it after it hit the core, like 1730, and then it hits the wall, and immediately you hit it, it should theoretically go red. This can be useful to know if you have like slightly below this power, because then it will still go red if you hit it. Like let's say the core just hit a corner as like in your own corner as a goalie, like this weird, it doesn't like clear complete, but it clears like dum dum dum, you know. If you hit it while it's going like this dum dum, and then hit it here, yeah, it go red speed if you have this amount of power roughly. I don't know why it's like that. This is probably more of a bug, but this one is definitely intended. Not a bug, but that this thing was definitely not intended. So yeah, most abilities that are not hard hit abilities, yeah, think of the Finny secondary and the Kai primary will keep the will keep the red core speed red. Of course, if you hit the Kai primary, it has 6 projectiles. If it hits more than once, the core is gonna be slower than red core, for example, like this 650. So yeah, you can make use of the red core by using a light ability. We call it light, yeah, because light abilities, if they hit an enemy, they will make your regeneration get back faster than hard abilities, like double the time. Yeah, light abilities usually take half the time for the enemy to then recover again. And these abilities on the first hit on the core will keep the speed, but the core is, which if it is red, it's gonna be red. Okay, so now we're getting to more advanced corner clear angles. This can be important for later, yeah. Of course, these things are very good for core flips, yeah. Maybe an enemy stands here, and now when it like there's like 2 enemies, one goalie is like, the enemy goalie is like here, he wants to eject on you, and there's like 2 enemies in front of you. Maybe even a 1 versus 3 situation, yeah. Now you have your core flip and make this boom, boom. It slides to the enemy goal. Maybe it's open, yeah. Except there's a lot of more angles you can practice and then replicate. Like you will maybe like sometime, like let's say you play 100 games. The first 10 to 15 games, even if you want to replicate the orange one, you're probably gonna replicate the yellow one by accident, yeah. But I've been hitting the orange one in a more consistent pattern lately. This is important when like the enemy stands here and it's very close to the wall, so he's missing his ability or his strike, yeah. Very useful on other parts, like here as well, when and one barrier is gone. Now what else? Yeah, okay, so here, you want to set, let's say you're Amy, yeah, enemies are here somehow, yeah. You're Amy, you shoot it back, maybe not even like a core flip speed thing, just a regular one. Dum, dum, and you dash up. You dash up and then make a play based on that. Maybe even like from here do an ult. Or maybe when you shoot like this, dash up, do an ult downwards, and then you can because everyone is like concentrated here, you can like when you use the ult like this, yeah, short it in the core here, it's gonna like this area is getting locked down. Maybe the enemy needs to burn one evade, which is 25 energy out of 75. Anyways, that can be powerful knowing this, yeah. And this because every single thing here is a corner, you can, if needed, iso-scale the core in certain ways depending how you approach the angle, yeah. Sometimes you need that to play around an enemy, survive 1 versus 3s by having prices, corner things here, which you can technically, all 8 of them, you can practice various things. But I think most players only know this one and maybe one more somewhere here. Like they will not know, especially probably the top part. The bottoms are always easier, I feel like, doing these things, yeah. So nice to know these kind of angles as a goalie. These angles are gonna be useful for a forward, yeah. But also if you play if you play goalie, you don't even need an eject button goalie, because most of the time you're gonna stand here and do forward things when you're not standing here. Like, okay, it's upper prodic stuff. It's just to say this will be important to know, yeah. Just like this, and you don't need to stand up here, yeah. This is just showing a complete angle. You can do it from here, yeah. Okay, so there's a lot more angles like this. This is just basic, very basic lineups. It can become much more complicated with further distances, different map layout, yeah, maybe even portals. So one very useful thing is, because I like to play shooting goalie portals, which is kind of like a non-meta pick and funny, yeah, you shoot it here while you stand here, yeah. You shoot it there. You don't need to stand here. Yeah, you can see it in clip. I'm gonna show you visual clips of all the advanced, but this is still basic. This one is still basic. Anyways, you wanna stand here, maybe, yeah. Shoot it here, not here, because that's changing the angle. You need to shoot it before this part, yeah, like here maybe, yeah. And as long as that happens, you shoot it up here. You move downwards. If I play Julie Paulins, yeah, I shoot it here. I move downwards while it's still here, shooting up, yeah. Maybe the enemy sees, oh, it will go down here somewhere, and then they don't pay attention to it. Maybe they work here, and then you can do a dash punch, or maybe other abilities, yeah. It can be Amy, like Amy dash and prime me at the enemy button. It happened before. This is why I'm showing it, yeah. Okay, the demon dice angle. Oh, let's replay that, yeah. You can set yourself up here, very useful in defense. See? Okay. Let me read. Yeah. So you want to attack, right? The goalie stands here, the enemy goalie, and maybe he's aware that he needs to guard this whole area here, yeah. So he constantly like taps his keys, his movement keys, and if he's caught in that motion, maybe you have a core flip, maybe not, but this one is more useful with a core flip. You can like at any point of time here, yeah, and this is just completely drawn. Like you can do it here, yeah, and it doesn't matter where you stand. The point is, if he's really too concentrated on this, he's not gonna be ready for this one. And so you can shoot it up, boom, boom, yeah. It depends where you want it to be. Maybe you want to have a deeper angle, so you can set up a second forward for, like, when this breaks, and it gets here, like this breaks, and there's maybe a second barrier. I don't know. Maybe it shouldn't. But even with one barrier, like it goes here, and let's say you have a second forward somewhere here, maybe, I don't know, somewhere here. it doesn't matter. The point is, if it gets this deep enough, there could be a risk that he could be reaching it. But the risk could also reward you that you're gonna set yourself up for a goal attempt. Yeah, but this is usually enough. Yeah, this is enough. Shooting it here is usually enough, because when the barrier breaks, the pressure is gonna be up. Yeah, and maybe the goalie is going to be like flustered, very stressed because his barrier just broke. Yeah. More experienced one will be more relaxed. Yeah. Same thing for Gates on Obscura. I lazily edited this because I don't know when I spent 5 minutes going into the game when I can just show you like this. Yeah. Sometimes it's enough to just strike it here at the very edge. Maybe it depends where you want it to go. If you strike it here, it depends. Yeah. Like this like, as we can see here. Yeah. This is like not a pointy thing. Yeah. Like it's not like this is like not a straight thing. Yeah. Which means depending how it hits, it can quickly go from this to this. Yeah. So it can be a good thing to practice. Yeah. Otherwise you can just like sometimes this just works. Yeah. Otherwise core flip, boom, boom. Yeah. Maybe here it depends where you want it to be. Maybe the goalie still has enough speed to get it here. Then you need to shoot it here, or maybe he slightly gets it. It also depends. Yeah. Maybe here. Yeah. It all depends where how the goalie is positioned or what he's aware of. Yeah. Okay. The drive-by barrier break. Yeah. The principle is this. Maybe you like move here. I don't know. Based on gameplay. Okay. Usually you are here. Yeah. Usually, I've done it on the wrong side. I'm just showcasing how the enemy does it. I guess. Yeah. He somehow approaches this. Maybe with the secondary on. And then he shoots it downwards. Yeah. Shoots it downwards. While you still move up. Maybe, yeah, just a little bit, yeah. So if the goalie looks on you, yeah, like sometimes you can catch yourself that you suddenly don't see the core anymore because you were thinking an action is gonna happen like you thought it would happen, yeah. In this case, because Rasmus keeps going into this direction, why he shoots it down, maybe the goalie is exhausted, yeah. That like stands here. Yeah? He's seeing Rasmus right forward, but he's not seeing the core anymore. And of course, usually when you do this, you need to fake this. It's gonna break. But if you do this part too, there's a chance you have enough time to maybe use your ultimate for hook on Rasmus, and then break the upper barrier, because now he's panicked, like he sees the core going downstairs, so he moves downwards. A less experienced one will move downwards, yeah, and then you can hook it and break the second one. It depends how the goalie is really, if you want to make this fake part here. It doesn't need to be Rasmus, yeah, it can be any character. Maybe you play Kazan, then just dash downwards here and hook it, something like this, so you can instantly strike it up here after you've done this. I've did this very poorly, but you get what I mean, yeah. Just it can be done better. It's just I'm not a hard forward, but I've seen people do it and I've done it myself. A faint core flip direction change. For this thing I have no visual, yeah, because it's very easy to understand. The first thing is the very basic setup. You shoot it up, maybe here, yeah. It doesn't need to be here. It can be here, but it can be also here. Yeah, it depends. In defense, I'm gonna shoot it up and then downwards, yeah, for example, and then do this corner clears like you can see above here, yeah. Fake it, shoot it up, core flip immediately, and then downwards, and then goal. Yeah, it can happen. Where is it here? Yeah. In this case, you probably want to make it shoot here, but when it's here, you like strike immediately core flip and downwards, and maybe the enemies now don't defend this thing. Sometimes you just don't need a core flip. But sometimes you have like a double goalie on the enemy team, like there's two goalies for some reason, and then you need these these tricks. Yeah, it's always nice to have change ups. This can go even wilder. Yeah, where let's say you shoot it up. Yeah, you shoot it up here, and you also move upwards, like the fake walking technique. Right, this one. Yeah. Same principle basically. Yeah, walking up here while you shoot it up, but you then insta core flip while you strike it. And then maybe downwards like this, maybe in the middle because everyone moved here. If you're lucky. Sometimes they catch this, so I'm just doing this. Sometimes I don't know, you don't, sometimes really don't need to use a core flip for this. Yeah, sometimes you can just do the drive-by thing. You don't need to do this core flip thing, but it's nice to know if it's like advanced enemies, you need like a change up, you know? Nice knowing this. Here's one more thing, yeah, in a similar thing that is like counting on visual manipulation. It's the fake strike technique. Basically, sometimes the enemy expects you to do something like striking. So, because they want to react as fast as possible, they are going to react to any movement that is a little bit more than just changing directions, which evading is. Evading makes your character be less visible. Like it changes colors, technically, yeah? For the eye at least. It goes from like full color to like a slightly black see-through color, which is enough for a visual response stimuli. You call it something like this. I'm a fucking scientist, just kidding. Okay, so evading, and it makes them think you strike, so they strike or use an ability. Maybe someone plays micro goalie, they have the secondary. You evade, and they release the secondary because they think you strike. Just for an example. Probably not gonna happen, but just an example. Or the enemy goalie, yeah, is in such a situation that the core, like you somehow make the core slowly go like this, yeah, like slowly, like let's say it's open, this one, and the core goes slowly like this, yeah, and then because you evade, like you very close. Goalie stands here, you're very close. You managed to get very close. And now the enemy thinks you're gonna strike it. Yeah? But you evade. You evade, and now he strikes. Because he needs to react, yeah? And then because he striked, he has no strike up, and you can strike. Okay. That's the fake strike technique. Very nice as a change up. Don't always do it, yeah? Sometimes you waste a lot of energy. Yeah, now we get to the heavy stuff, yeah? This is why you needed to know why or when the core is red speed. This is, now we're getting to why you need to know this. The red core recycling technique, yeah? Let's say an enemy somehow shoots a red core. Maybe he has enough power or a simple core flip. You stand here, yeah? And because the angle is not very far, it's like shallow enough that it stays red speed. If you strike, so the green sickles here means that you should strike, yeah? I forgot to draw in the first strike, but it's kind of obvious, yeah? So maybe the enemy red core, you catch the core here somehow, and then you shoot it down here, and it goes up. You like you should reposition yourself, yeah? I'm gonna make it like a follow your mouse thing here, yeah? So strike downwards, like okay, enemy strike, makes the red core somehow, maybe with 1-2 punch with a little bit of power. It will happen in game, these sort of things. For your first strike downwards, meanwhile while it goes down here, you already move here, yeah, and then you strike it upwards, and yeah, they're upwards here, yeah, and then it goes here, you stand here, you already prepare, like when you strike here, you already move here, like it is not the exact spot, but you get what I mean. And then strike, it strikes downward, you already move here, yeah, maybe not the exact spot, maybe it's here, but you get the point, yeah. You strike here, you strike up here while you move here, and then it automatically goes here, you strike, but you move already here, yeah, and then you strike where you ever want it to be. Maybe you move here. Like, it depends what angle you want. This is your final angle, which you need to decide on, because maybe the enemy now stands here while you do all this stuff, or here. But because it's red core and the enemy doesn't really expect it, you can choose it, yeah? You can probably choose it wherever you want it to be. Now I have... Is it this? No, it's this one. This works on any map, yeah? By the way, this works on any map. Works on any map, yeah? And on night market, for example, it's gonna be more corners to use, yeah? Yeah, night market, more corners, yeah? Where you can theoretically do it, yeah? Like advanced setups even, like, this is like very future gameplay. Even I didn't practice that. Like, that, you know, if I dribble it constantly here, at some point I need to decide when it's here where exactly I want to hit it here. So it like maybe hits some kind of weird corner here on purpose, memory practiced to make some goal. Yeah, some weird corner stuff, funky stuff. That is the very future of Omega Strikers. We might as well never reach it, but I'm just saying it out there. So here's a small example how it could look like. This is more a simpler version of it. You can need more hits, technically. Maybe you need more hits, maybe you need less hits. Yeah. Okay. Here we're starting it. It can be anything. Anything could make the red core happen. Even the enemy. The main thing is that you catch the core. Yeah. Yeah. It depends. As you can see, this is very different than what I was shown. Yeah, because there's many ways to do it. I'm not like even here. I'm not even like recycling it. Yeah, this is very basic. But you can also recycle it like this. Yeah, because this kind of how passing works. Yeah, here. If let's say a teammate is here. Yeah, here, just here, and he passes a red core to you, and you hit a forward here. You can now decide. Usually use that here. You can now decide these angles to keep it red. Yeah, that's the same principle behind it, basically. How you want it to stay red. Yeah, that's the same principle, but it can also be easier. Yeah, like the game gives you a lot of choices if you know how red core keeping the red core works. It gives you a lot of choices. This is one of the easier ones, but this is usually when I have no other choice. Yeah, this one is like more consistent. Okay, so this is still the basic thing. This here is still the basic thing. We now get into stuff that shouldn't even be possible right now, but because nobody else does it. This is already raw. You see, besides me, maybe 1 or 2 people can do this in EU, like they did it on their own. Yeah, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 0. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. I saw it, but I don't know if it was like a in the moment thing and they really knew what they were doing. And it was just this stuff. It wasn't this stuff. Yeah, it was just this stuff. I've begun to do these stuffs because I kept doing these things in ranked. Yeah, kept trying out new things. Yeah. Once again, this is why these angles can be important. Yeah, knowing these angles here, very important. It can be very important to know all these angles here for exactly this stuff here. Very high elo stuff, advanced. Yeah, it's nice to know. Okay, now we get to the very crazy deep bottom part of the iceberg. Yeah, of red core recycling technique. Yeah, okay. First of all, what happened? This happened in ranked. I was able to make use of this in ranked. Yeah, live gameplay. The enemy, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he tried to shoot the barrier. Maybe with a red core here. Yeah, he stood around here. Maybe he missed. I don't know if either of these things happened. But what I did was intercept the core somewhere here. So here's the thing. If you shoot a red core from this far, by the time it's about here, it's gonna be yellow. So you want to catch it when it's still red. You're gonna shoot it against the wall, which once again extends the red core, yeah? So 2 seconds, 3 seconds, red speed, you shoot it by yourself. Okay, so enemy, you shoot it after you catch intercepted here in such a way that it's gonna go somewhere here while you move down, yeah? While you move down, you keep the red speed from the core flip of the enemy, you move down while you strike it, yeah? And boom, now you have the choice of a free red core, a free one, yeah? This is very free, but hard to set up, obviously. But this is end level Omega Strikers in my mind, yeah? And now you can decide where you're gonna shoot. And I put this off in ranked. So I don't know, 50 minutes ago I've tried to replicate this. It kind of worked, yeah. Here. This is the enemy doing the core flip, but I'm doing it on my own because I don't got two people. But it works like this, yeah. Let's repeat it again. Yeah, regular core flip. He's gonna do it with a strike. This player is gonna do it with a strike. I just did it with an ability because I'm not red striking without it, without overtime. Yeah. Boom. This is me intercepting with his red core. Yeah. And in this case here, and I think I did it in ranked like this too, which is why I draw like this, because technically this is not possible. I think like the first I've replicated this here, this exactly this, 10 minutes already before this here, yeah. And then because it was in this angle, and I showed it up, it wasn't a red speed. In this case, I needed to shoot it down, maybe, I don't know. In this case here, yeah, I fit it almost straight, or maybe even straight, and now the game gives me a full thing where I can shoot it. In this case, I shot it up, which is crazy, yeah. This is crazy for high elo players. I can tell you this. If someone watches this, some people that play end level Omega Strikers are actually gonna be wow, yeah. Because usually, yeah, when you, like, for the few people that know how to keep the red core, usually it's gonna be in the opposite direction it came from, yeah. Like in like you see this in Challenger, there's gonna be like a core flip here by the enemy, and the goalie now changes it downwards, yeah. Like this is very, very basic stuff. Diamond or Challenger goalies are gonna just do it straight because they think you can only do it straight, then it goes there, okay. More advanced goalies will do these things here, yeah. These things here, more advanced ones, yeah, like me. Very few people actually do this one here. So if you know how to do this, you're probably gonna be like a top 4 goalie in EU. In NA definitely too. The gameplay I'm seeing in NA is not good. So yeah, this one, yeah. I've explained to you how it works theoretically. We're gonna rewatch the clip once more. Boom, boom, boom. Upwards. Crazy thing, right? Okay. For this one, I don't have footage, but it's very easy to understand. Let's say you only have 178 power, for example, yeah? Like slightly below the red core striking thing, yeah? If for some reason or someone with an ability or strike with this speed, around this speed level, shoots it against an objective based core knockback booster, yeah. And if you strike it when it just made boom, yeah, you strike it almost immediately after that, it's gonna be red speed. Yeah, same thing for Taiko. Yeah, you probably don't even need to strike it. And ability works too, I think. But it works on this thing. This is why, and this is the most crazy part. Yesterday I actually played X forward, and on accident I dashed here, and then restriked the core in my dash, because it fell against the drum. It was red into the goal. It was fucking crazy, yeah. So I'm saying this works. this works definitely. This is high-end gameplay. Nobody uses this. I've done it on accident yesterday, but I knew immediately what it was when it happened. Yeah, this is high-level stuff. This is gonna be the future of Omega Strikers. Nobody plays like this in NSA. All these people do know is how to pick their gaming characters and play, and that's it. If you know all this crazy stuff right now, if they don't improve their gameplay, you can be top 3 at least. And if you got good reaction time, even higher. Yeah, because the top 4 in NSL, you know, shoots 5 times in a row to an enemy edge when he can just clear it sideways. Yeah, so this is like 2 tiers above that level. Oh yeah, one last thing. This is also nice to know. Yeah, a lot of goalies. Let's just. Do you see the difference here? Maybe let me just ask you. A lot of goalies think only this works. Yeah, that they need to stand somewhere before the corner ends. Yeah, that they always need to like stand in this part before the corner ends, so that the core moves in this direction. Actually, that is not the case. Yeah, you can stand here, maybe shoot it down here, and it will extend like this, which is nice to know with a core flip maybe on Amy's app where the barriers here. It's nice to know. It's very much needed in Pro League, especially if like there's Erasmus with a secondary running at you. If you do something like this, it works out. And if you got a very good angle, basically this angle will be replicated where it slightly bumps like this into the corner and then maybe into a goal. And practicing these things so you can always pull off this angle, for example, or maybe a slightly different one, depending where the enemy stands. Yeah, that's the thing. You can adjust it on the go when you know how this works. You can adjust it on the go. That is, so far as I know, the end level stage of Omega Strikers. So yeah, this is definitely a Challenger Plus guide, maybe even an Omega, but I'm gonna trust into the Challengers that they can pull off these things if they learn this by step. Yeah, this is my accumulated 4,000 hours of gameplay of Omega Strikers. This is my work, yeah, and I'm sharing this because it will be so much more fun to play with actually good goalies that also know how to do this, so I can become even better and have enough awesome time striking it out against each other. Yeah, so yeah, hope this guide works for you. If you got any questions, put it down in the comment section, yeah, or maybe Discord at me. Yeah, I'm gonna communicate with you. Yeah, see you.